and therefore will it please Krishna. Even if an activity appears very beneficial from a layman point of view, or even from a neophyte devotee's point of view, if it is not pleasing to the Guru, then it can only bring agitation to the heart. This is a very simple formula that Maharaj gave us before he left. He said, it's very simple. When you do your devotional service, if you appear to be a luminary, but you are disturbed, or you become a cause of disturbance to others, even if you mean the best, then that will not please the spiritual master. This is very important. The Prachetas, again, they stand for the principle that if you are touched by a great devotee and please the devotee, how? Simply repeat. They just repeated one shloka and they spent many years in the lake. And when they came out, this is the verse, they actually saw that Krishna himself had become pleased on two accounts. One, they obeyed Lord Shiva. He became very pleased. Second, they didn't compose their own prayers. They were not original. They just followed the original prayers. So there was double pleasure for Krishna. One, you have followed my great devotee. Two, no concoction. You are following exactly what he has said also. Perfect. And therefore Krishna appeared before the Prachetas. Now, there was one other thing that pleased Krishna very much. And here we see Krishna stating it very nicely. He says here that I am very much pleased by the friendly relationships among you. And Prabhupada writes in the purports after this, this is the real reason that Krishna became actually pleased. In the material world, if you put two people together and they don't fight, it's a dream. If you put three people together, two people must talk about the third person. And they will do it by different combinations. Because everyone wants to appear as friends, but inside they have their own dealings. If you put an entire congregation of devotees like this, what should normally happen? There should be a riot. But it's not like that. The real challenge that really pleases Krishna is how friendly we are in our relationship with each other. The Prachetas were all different. No one Pracheta was the same with the other. And it's the same in our society. No devotee will be the same like the other. And despite that, Krishna became so happy because the Prachetas were all engaged only in one occupation, and that is just devotional service. They didn't have time in between their prayers to talk to each other about anything material. There was nothing. They were just concentrating. For us, after 16 rounds, we want to speak something material, isn't it? Because 16 rounds means we have done everything spiritual. Now forget it, some matter must be there. That's why we ask each other, what's the matter? You know, Maharaj said, when you ask what's the matter, it's dangerous. Because that means that person is going to talk about matter, not spirit. So we have to be very careful. The Prachetas were not like that. They were sustained in their devotional service. And they were focused on what would please Lord Shiva. Because Lord Shiva told them, you don't do anything else in the water. You just chant these prayers. That's it. And isn't that what our spiritual masters have all told us? You just do devotional service. Don't get into the Kaurava, Pandava, Kurukshetra. Don't judge, don't criticize. That's what all our spiritual masters tell us. So this is the difference between the Prachetas and the struggling devotees. So what principle the Prachetas are putting forward is very important. And this principle Prabhupada brought up many times, the principle of unity in diversity. It is a term that's often used in the material world, but it's only material. But Prabhupada said very often, unity in diversity is the real pleasure principle of Krishna consciousness. Not just principle, but it actually brings pleasure. That's very important. Very often we don't use the term pleasure principle very often. But pleasure principle, Prabhupada used it on unity in diversity. And the important point he said here is that we are united today on one occupation. We may all be coming from different backgrounds, all different ages, different languages. We all have had different past. And on top of that, we also have different futures. All our destinies will be different. And even now, everyone is suffering, but we are all suffering differently also. Each one of us looks at the other person and says, I'm suffering more than him. But we don't realize that that person is also thinking the same thing. But when the Prachetas were in the waters, Maharaj said, they didn't think, oh, I'm breathing less than him. I'm chanting the prayer better than that person. No. They were chanting together. And that was it. And that pleased Krishna. So the other point that we must recognize, in order to understand unity in diversity, the starting point for us to understand is, and accept, is everyone is an individual. The problem is we do not accept this sastric point. That's why Maharaj very often said, when two devotees fight, they become Mayavadis actually. They are not devotees. Because if you are devotee, you will recognize that the soul is an individual. Individual means everyone has a different mentality. Isn't it? Naham nindam nichestami. In 7th canto, 13th chapter, 42nd verse, the Avadut gives us very, very good advice on how to live in this world. How do we live in this world? First, different people are of different mentalities. Maharaj said, if only you can just live this one line, every yatra will be peaceful. There will not be any problems. Sorry, bro? Yeah. Please. This is very important. Everyone has a different mentality. Now, if everyone has a different mentality, the implication of it is that everyone is different. Because everyone is individual. Everyone has his own identity. So if our nature is like that, how can we expect someone else to have the same nature? The moment the expectation is there, the unity is lost. This is a very important point. The moment expectation is there, unity goes. Instead of expectation, if there is acceptance of each other's individuality, then unity is established. This is a very important point for all devotees. When we accept that this devotee is a bit gunda, it's his nature. Maybe we can utilize his gunda nature in something. I was in Mayapur and Ramai Swami was telling me, in the beginning years, some of the devotees had to take care of the lands that Prabhupada established when he left. And Prabhupada, when he was choosing, Bhavanand Prabhu asked Prabhupada, who should we take? And Prabhupada said, find the best Gunda devotees in our movement. Those who naturally like to fight, keep them in Mayapur. Why? Because they will fight for the lands. And these Gunda devotees in any yatra, all the leaders didn't want them. Because they said they would always cause trouble. They are very Kshatriya by nature, very easy to fight. And Kshatriyas are sensitive also in the heart. So if you say something to them, they get angry. This is Kshatriya nature, you know. But Prabhupada knew expertly that every nature is different. But it doesn't mean it cannot be used for Krishna. And in Vaishnavism, nothing is good or bad. Good and bad is a material concept. But if it's used for Krishna, it becomes transcendental. That's why Maharaj said we have to change our outlook. Because we come into the movement, we still see devotees as he's a good devotee. Not so good devotee. Quite bad devotee. Very bad devotee. I don't think he's a devotee. See how it goes? We look at others and say, this is an offensive devotee. But Maharaj said, you can only see someone's offense if you have that offensive nature in your heart. A thief will know another thief, isn't it? So before we look at others, we have to really look at ourselves. That's why individuality in Krishna consciousness is not wrong, but it has to be channeled and it has to be accepted. So that's the first point we should remember. Maharaj made a nice statement in this verse that I written down. He said, differences between devotees, diversity between devotees should be celebrated and not criticized. We should celebrate diversity. It's a happy day when we have devotees of different strengths, different outlooks, different characters coming together, because it proves the individuality of the soul. Krishna himself is supreme individual. So how can we say that we are all made the same? This is a very basic point. Real unity is not founded on groupism. It is not founded on sectarianism. It is not founded that I am this Guru's disciple, you are that Guru's disciple. Ultimate real unity is what the Prachetas did. They attempted to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by performing devotional service. That is real unity. If we have that mood, then we will never have any problems with anyone. Because we accept the beauty of different devotees. It's alright. He's like that. We see something good. That is very important. If we don't have that mood, then we will be in difficulty. We will be agitated in our heart. Instead of doing the devotional service, we will keep highlighting why this devotee is behaving that way. Why that devotee is behaving this way. The only person who should be bothered about that is our spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada. We are not the gurus. Why are we bothered? The Prachetas didn't try, each Pracheta didn't try to be guru of the other Pracheta. Each Pracheta tried to be the servant of the other Pracheta. That's why they could unite, even though they were different. That's why if we can all focus on what will satisfy Krishna, what will satisfy Guru, what will satisfy Sadhu, and what will satisfy Shastra. If we can keep this in mind, then all our dealings will not be material. They will become spiritual. And we will accept each other much better. We'll be able to do services with each other.